Step and swing. Good. All right, now here comes the hard part. Back out to outside. You're going to do it in midair. So can you concentrate on your hips going first while you're in midair? Not bad. And by the way, not only did he go first, but you see how large it was in terms of closing the door that time? She ended up going more than 90-degree pivot in midair from the open door position to the closed door position. Rotate 90 degrees. Hips first, turn. Awesome. Good for you. Question?
How much of it all would you address for farmers?
Let's watch that and see. Let me see what you're seeing. So just concentrate your hips. Nothing else. Your job is to go here. Yeah, this thing during step number 1. Yeah, so great question. And there's an error detection issue. And if I've been in one of my coaches' clinics right now, we were working on fixing her hips, I would have gotten mad at that coach. I'm not. And I would have said, don't you muddy my waters. Don't you muddy my waters, because the mind can only hold one thought at a time. Now I'm going to give you another thing, and this is getting the second half of my presentation today. But we have to look at the relationship, and this happens so early that I don't think it has any effect on her hips. And in fact, she just closed the door pretty nice despite this. If it had been something that was closer from a timing standpoint to her failing to close the door, then I could have seen that being problematic. And not that I love this, right? Because we want a sway as opposed to whatever that we're going to call that, right? I'm taking the veil off. You get married? All right. So I can't help myself. I'm going to spill over the second half of my talk. Mine can only hold one thought at a time. But since it's unfair to give them two things to think about simultaneously, it's still fair to give them two things to think about as long as I give them a sequence. And this is an easy sequence for her because they are separated by enough time. So we're going to have two cue phrases for you. Sway, then spin. And sway refers to what you're going to do in step number 1. That's going to be a little tiny arm motion where your arms just do that in step number 1 before you do your double arm lift behind, right? Sway, and then you're going to go into your step close, and then you're going to make sure you spin. And the spinning action is to make sure you close the door and the hips go first. So mine can only hold one thought at a time, but it's fair to give your athletes a sequence. And here comes the sequencing for her. And this is, I swear to you, I teach about 20 to 30 hours of private lessons a week. That's all I do anymore besides train my coaches. I don't coach my own team. But I do a ton of private lessons, and over the last 6 years, thousands and thousands of hours of private lessons, and this part of the art of teaching is the key to me being successful in asking my athletes to make biomechanical changes more rapidly. They'll make the changes, but I want to accelerate that process and make it happen faster. Sway, spin. How about that? You guys all see